So welcome to my channel. That's what we call the good life. It's May and I'm going to take you for a little tour around my plot so you can see how everything's going, and I'd love to know how your allotment and home gardens are doing as well. Now if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my allotment, my home garden, and from time to time my home kitchen. Now I'm up here on the top of the plot and I'm just checking out how everything's doing. I've already had quite a substantial amount of rhubarb, which I've used myself. I've made a curry, I've made some cookies, I've made some compote, but also managed to share it with some friends. So it's doing really well. Whenever I pull a little bit off, I always give it a little bit of a water unless we're expected a lot of rain, and I find that really helps with encouraging new growth. It's only a small thing, but my dad always did it and I've always followed suit. The artichokes are getting really quite big now, but I don't think there's any sign of any artichokes coming soon. But I bet within, I mean, you can see the new shoots coming through the middle. I bet it won't be long, and at some point this month I'm probably going to see some really good growth here as well. So I've got a couple of artichokes there, and I've got one over there. I did have loads and loads of bloom on both my Bramley apple and my pear tree, but the blooms have all pretty much now gone, so now we're getting the little forms there. So hopefully I'm going to get quite a few pears on here and also some Bramley apples on here. I've got a lot of bloom this year, so I don't know how everyone else's fruit trees are going, but I've had such a lot of bloom, and I've genuinely seen a lot of bloom on other trees as well, so it'd be really interesting to see whether we get more fruit this year than we did last year. So let's move round to the fruit cage area. So my raspberries are looking lovely, and I'm sure every time I come up here, the little buds seem to form a little bit more, and they all seem to have a little bit more green leaf on them. So the raspberries look absolutely fantastic. Hopefully another month and a half and I might even be picking my first raspberries, who knows. My cherry tree that I notoriously never get many cherries off of has got quite a bit of bloom on it, but I said the same last year and still didn't manage to get many cherries, but we'll see. You never know. Every year I get a few more, but never more than about a punnetful, unfortunately. Now anyone who follows my channel knows that this part of my allotment was really quite overgrown, and sometimes it's quite hard to keep on check of things, and you do have to prioritise when stuff needs to be done. But this was the month that I definitely needed to get a bit more going with regards to clearing it and getting a little bit tidier, because it had started to rain and things were starting to really grow, and if you don't keep things under control this time of the year, they can really get out of control. We've tried various ways of keeping this down, with mulch, with mowing, with all sorts of ideas, but we got a strimmer last year. In fact, we'd had a strimmer before, but it wouldn't work properly most of the time. So after doing a lot of research, we picked up this Ryobi one, and it is really fantastic. It's electric one, so we don't have to worry about leads or anything like that, and it is really quite easy to use. Even I feel quite comfortable using it. So it's really light and comfortable and easy to use, so this is really fantastic. If you want to get one of these, I will put a link up on the screen and also one in the description from our Amazon allotment shop. I do have to let you know we do make a little bit of money out of it, but if you want to get one of these, we found it really useful, and we're going to get more of these tools as the year goes on. You can purchase one of those if you want to. So if we move down, so the gooseberries have come along at breakneck speed. These are quite often, apart from the rhubarb, one of the first fruits that you pick. They come along quite easily because you can pick them as soon as they're formed, or you can leave them on there a little bit longer so they sweeten up. The reason it's netted is because the birds, even though these are really prickly, the birds really do like to have a go at them. But if I just poke a few through there, you can see that they're coming on really nicely. They're not ready to pick just yet, they're a little bit too small. But if you have got gooseberries, I do advise you to cover them, because the birds, honestly, they will absolutely clear them quicker than you can blink. So I've got my raised beds here that I did have covered, because when I usually start things off, I cover things initially to stop the birds from having a go at them. And I was really pleased when I came up here today to find that some of my radishes are ready to pick. So I've got a little bit of flea beetle, but it's not doing too much damage. They're still coming on. Now it's a really good idea if you're growing them, and if you're a bit like me and you've sown them a little bit too thickly, to pick them when they're a little bit smaller, because otherwise they'll all come along at once and then they'll bolt and then they'll be no good. So I'm going through and just picking out what look like the larger ones, which I shall take home, and no doubt, curries, stir fries, that sort of thing. It doesn't matter if they're a little bit small, obviously one's more about that size are better, but they're all still really good eating. So I'll have another pick through those before I leave and take some of those home. That's my mustard leaves, those are my radish leaves, so slightly different. You don't wait for them to turn into radish, you pick them as leaf. And these are my cut and come again lettuces. My coriander is coming on absolutely fantastically. Unfortunately, there's been lots of weeds as well, so I've spent a good hour, probably hour and a half, weeding this morning. One good thing to do is to save your containers, so when you pick things like your herbs, you've got something to take them home in really easily. These are just like things that I've obviously bought some fruits in and I've just kept them, and yeah, really handy for just cutting a few like that, because I know I'm going to be using some of that coriander this week. If I'd have bought that in the shops, that's probably about £1's worth. I've got my parsley here, which is growing, but not quite at the breakneck speed of the coriander. So I've got a little bit more weeding to do there, but it's definitely better than it was. I've also got my cut and come again lettuces, so which again, they've had a few weeds in them, so you just have to go through them. It's a bit of a tedious job, but it's worth it. The good thing with cut and come again lettuces are exactly what they say on the tin. I cut them and they'll come again, and I can take a little chunk of the mustard leaves and also the radish leaf there, so I've got a nice amount of stuff there in salad. So the good thing about things like salad and obviously the coriander, I only put these in just over a month ago, and they're very quick growing, so really good things to do. But you do need to successional sow things like that because they will bolt. So in about another 2 or 3 weeks time, I'll probably start some more off. If we move swiftly down to the garlics, they're coming along nice. They've got some nice thick stems on them. I'm hoping that this month they're going to be thick enough to eat as green garlic, but we'll just have to see. You really have to keep an eye on them because they can be quite tricky in the fact that they can be ready and then go over, and you can lose them. Unfortunately, they can start to rot, so I will keep a check on. All I do is I'll just get a trowel and I'll pull around the bottom of it, and if it looks like it's starting to fill out, I can eat some as green garlic and leave some so that they flop over a little bit more, rather than pulling them a little bit early. But we'll just keep a check on those. I had some fennel in there, some bulb fennel, which I pulled, and 1 stem of asparagus, only 1 stem. You never know, we might get another one. I put about 5 plants in, so unfortunately it doesn't look like the asparagus is going to do much, but you never know, I might get some shooting up very soon. I've got my blueberry bushes here, which are absolutely fantastic. I've got absolutely tons more bloom on this year than I had on last year. Again, something else, as you can see, actually look, the little blueberries are starting to form now. So obviously I've got the bloom there, and I've got the little blueberries that are actually starting to fill there. So I will need to get that covered as well, because otherwise the birds might get those too. There's a theme, isn't there, with birds, unfortunately. I've got my Comfrey here, which I make Comfrey tea out of, which is really good for making liquid fertiliser. So I have my water butt there, I put my Comfrey in it, I cut it off there, I then add water on it, leave it for a little while, and then I use it to feed lots of my flowering plants. Things like my courgettes, tomatoes, anything that you want to flower, this is really good for, but not for things that you don't want to flower, because that could obviously make it bolt. But growing your own Comfrey and making your own fertiliser is absolutely a fantastic thing to do because it's free and it's natural. So who doesn't want to do that? I've got my overwintering onions here and my spring planting onions. My spring planting onions are obviously a little bit further behind. My overwintering onions are looking really good, and they're not ready to all pick yet. Someone asked me, when are onions ready to pick? Well, what happens when they're ready to pick is they will flop over. So these leaves will flop over. That being said, if you need an onion and it's a reasonable size, you can just pick it whenever. So I'm picking them as I need them at the moment because I've run out of my onions from last year, but I'm not going to pick them all until they flopped over, which will probably be about another month or so. But again, you know, it's not an exact science, you just have to wait for them to flop over. But I'll probably grab a couple of these larger ones for me to take home because I'll be cooking with it in the next few days. So this area here, I still haven't planted anything on it yet, so I've got this weed suppressant down. I find it really handy, so if I'm not planting on something and the weeds come along really quickly, especially this time of year, so if you're finding it hard to keep your allotment under control and you've got some areas that you've cleared but you're not ready to plant on yet because of maybe the weather conditions, or you just haven't got the plants ready, this is some really good stuff. I buy this and I put it down at the end of the year, lift it up in the spring, and I just use it year after year after year. I'll put a link up on the screen and also one in the description if you'd like to get some of that too. I've got a few more gooseberries here, so same as the other ones. I've got those covered. I've even got a little ladybird. I actually noticed quite a lot of ladybirds on here. I've got 2 here. I've got one down there, hopefully eating all the things that I don't want on my plot, and one over there as well. So that's a really good sign. I try not to spray things. That's not to say that I never ever do. Occasionally I do, but generally I try and let nature do it for me. I started, I put some seeds in, so I've got some carrot seeds under the Enviromesh Tunnel there, and I've got some beetroot and some chard underneath this mesh here. I cover pretty much all my seeds for a couple of reasons. One, with nearly all the seeds, quite often when they're quite small, they're really attractive to the birds and smaller animals. So I use this scaffolding net, which you'll probably see on lots of places on my allotment. It's really, I've tried lots and lots of different netting, even the special butterfly netting, but I find this is cheaper, it's more durable, it does what I need it to do. So if you want to get some of that, I will put a link up on the screen and one in the description. It's basically just like the scaffolding net, but they call it scaffolding stroke gardening net because so many of us use it to cover our crops to protect from birds. This netting, however, is like a fine mesh, like an Enviromesh, and this is to stop things like the carrot fly and also the white cabbage butterfly. For this one, it's obviously the carrots to protect from the carrot fly. I find that ever since I've used the mesh, I don't get hardly any carrot fly. That's not saying I don't get any, but I hardly get any at all. So it's really, really worth it. And I find that they come along a lot better as well. It's almost like it creates a microclimate. So whereas that netting will come off once the plants get a little bit bigger, like the ones up in my raised bed, this will stay on for the duration because I need it to protect it all the time from the carrot fly. If you want to get any of that netting, I will put a link up on the screen and also one in the description. I've also got some broad beans that are coming on really nicely that I just direct sowed into the ground. I like direct sowing when I can because it's an awful lot easier. You can start them off in module trays, and I do start some things off in module trays, but it gets to a certain time of the year where I don't know about you, I've got so much stuff in my greenhouse, I just want to get things in the ground, and things like this are very frost tolerant, so I just popped these straight into the ground and they seem to be doing quite well. I've also got my potatoes in, so I've got all my potatoes in. Now if you've not got your potatoes in already, you do want to be getting them in this month. It's kind of like, you know, the best month to get them in if you want to get a decent crop. A few people have been asking me about earthing up. I haven't actually started earthing up, but when you do earth up, you're not burying the whole plant, you still need the growing tip to be seen. So all you do is you either mulch around it with straw, with compost, with grass, or you pull up the earth from the outside of here, but you're going up to the stems and you're leaving the growing tip. So that's quite important, because if you start burying the whole thing, it might damage the plants basically, and you really, really don't want to be doing that. I've also got my wildflowers just down here. So they were looking a little bit shabby and I was wondering whether they were going to grow back, and I have popped a few more in. Even I'm not entirely sure of all the different wildflowers I've got here, but the good news is that they have all come back this year, and in fact some of them have come back. I think the ones that didn't grow last year have maybe grown this year. So my little wildflower bit to try and encourage the beneficial insects and obviously the bees is starting to look quite good. I've got quite a few nasturtiums coming up, and I've got some cosmos dotted around that I can see, so things are really starting to look really, really good here. I've got a few things further up, but that will conclude my tour. What I will say is I've been seeing a few questions about gardening gloves. Unfortunately, you need more than one pair of gardening gloves. One thing doesn't do everything. I've got this lovely pair of very kind of like more fine ones, which are good for just general gardening. These are really quite comfortable to wear. And I do them in some really pretty patterns. So for any of you ladies out there that want a pretty pattern, these Slarmor ones are really, really lovely. So I will put a link up on the screen and one in the description. If you're doing things which are more nettles and brambles and really hardcore stuff, I use, you know, the really thick, like suede ones that are for welding, but that double up for gardening as well. I will put a link in the description for those more heavy-duty ones as well. But yeah, I mean, some people have about 3 pairs. I generally just wear these, or the really thick ones when I've got really heavy gardening. I have worn rubber gloves in the past, but since I've got these, I find these kind of do what I want them to do. And I don't really like using things that I'm going to throw away. I like to get stuff that I use over and over and over again. I've got my Jerusalem artichokes here, so obviously these are very different from the globe artichokes at the top. These are the tuber variety, and these are the ones that grow a little bit more like potatoes, so they're coming up and they're looking really good as well. We've come back to the bit that's covered. I've started clearing this little bit here. I was going to put my corn in there, and I've got some small corn, but unfortunately they're not germinating yet, so even for me some things don't germinate. I've got to be honest, the seeds were a little bit old, but I never like to throw things away, I'll just give them a go. I don't know about anyone else, but I have a lot of trouble with badgers over here, so I don't grow the big corns anymore. I grow the little miniature ones because they don't seem quite so susceptible to being attacked, but they're not germinating, so nothing's going to be attacking anything at the moment. I've got my little kind of like polytunnel thing here, which I haven't got an awful lot in here, and if I'm honest I haven't decided what's going in here this year, but I have got some little kales in here which aren't doing a tremendous amount. It looks like the slugs might have got them, so I need to give them a little bit of feed, but they are still there, so fingers crossed I'll get some more kale. But I have started some more kale off at home, so it's not all bad. So moving up a little bit more, I've got my black currants, which as you can see I've got lots and lots of lovely little buds on there, so they look absolutely fantastic. So another thing that will need to be netted, but just not yet, so a few more weeks and I'll probably need to net those too. Now I do hope you've enjoyed my tour of the allotment. If you're wondering what you can be planting in the month of May, please check out my link on the screen and in the description.